Virtual reality, also known as VR. The rise of VR had gamers everywhere creaming their pants in excitement. No spare left unvirtualized healthcare, finance, education, even freaking manufacturing shit. When a top developer dropped the new immersive MMORPG called Boot Our Shoot Curse, not from Blizzard by the way. It was an instant art for every basement-dwelling neckbeard. Our anti-hero protagonist wasted no time creating the ultimate thirst trap, an elf babe named Rare, with the innate beauty perk to trigger many awkward moments later on. But being a twisted lady of culture, she doubled down on the cringe by taking negative traits like poor eyesight and albinism, basically making her a half-vampire shut-in. As a non-human freak, her spawning choices are the demon territories or getting subjugated in the human lands. So our tragic waifu queen arose in a dank, musty cape. No surprise there. After crawling around for quite some time, Rara came across a group of beast girl NPCs sitting around a campfire, roasting meals over the flames. Her nerve initially got the better of her as she impulsively attacked, smacking and battering the surprise girl with her real-life martial art training. But instead of killing the down NPCs, Rara halted her assault and learned of their heartbreakingly tragic backstories, which seems rather predictable to her. When they were just children, they got abandoned by their own race. The elders were intent on selling them into servitude, so they escaped, fleeing into the unforgiving wilderness of the demon territory. To endure the harsh environment, they had no choice but to resort to theft and even violence to survive. Even the backstory seems predictable. Rara was astonished by the depth and richness of their tales, far beyond what she expected from simple NPC scripts. Deciding to help them, Rara patiently explained the fundamentals of the game's world and mechanics, how it's unbalanced as fuck. Also experienced system that govern the character's growth and capabilities. By the way, just look at her. She looks adorable. The beta beast girls wanted to be her devoted sims, but our Chonky Chonker didn't know jack about taking subordinates. So she spent quite some time unlocking skill after skill like some turbo virgins, charm, fear, summon, even necromancy, before finally getting subordinate and binding the furry frual and souls to her massive 10 carapace. Rara soon realized that these were no ordinary beast girls. They were unique bosses of considerable strength. Determined to test their own abilities, they ventured into the forest. After some time, they encountered a formidable foe. That's when shit got real. A massive, hostile wolf loomed before them, ready to cook them into a cold grave. Without hesitation, the beast girls charged toward the looming threat. The attacker Bimbo Carey, support slut Rami, sniper waifu Riley, and stealth thought Marion. Just as Rara was getting ready to cream her panties over the beast's raw power, she realized, wait, I can just tame this big hacking chonker with my subordinate skills.
One eternity later.
The Mega Doggo was Rara's personal slobber yet ex-rug, joined soon after by its cringy pack of virgin incel wolves. But the harem fantasy was just getting started. Next up, a big-ass ant came skittering out, ready to suck out their souls with its pristine mandibles. While the thoughts provided DPS and crowd control, Rara slapped some magic on Marion and raised the intelligence stat for the rest of the beast girls. When Rara tried to tame the cheeky little ant, a message popped up and saying, already claimed, sorry Pop. Rara then remembered with a smirk, of course, ants have their queen calling the shots. Rara and her beast girls crew headed straight for the ant's cave. They brushed past the worker ants, maybe got a little handsy. Finally coming face to face with the notorious ant queen herself. Time to show this lady who really runs the colony. Rara kept trying to put that sassy ant queen in her place, but her subordination ability just wasn't cutting it. Every attempt got cock-blocked by the cooldown timer. While they waited for Rara's skill to recharge, Hakuna and Ginka, Rara's Frosty Wolves lieutenant, and the Beast Girl squad focused on cracking Queen Ant's stuff out of shell, getting a bit too handsy in the process. Finally, Rara felt that taming power coursing through her veins once more. She renewed her taming efforts, and this time that sassy ant queen got tamed. The former ruler immediately recognized who was the new queen calling the shots, ordering her obedient little worker ants to serve their new mistress, Rara. Let's just say the buzzing around the camp that night was interesting, and not just from the insects. As for the rewards for helping out Rara, The Beast Girls wanted to know what the
What?
inventory thing was. They looked on in amazement as their leader demonstrated powers they could never have imagined. The ability to open and access the infinite inventory dimension, summoning or storing any objects or materials at will. As Rara patiently explained, she soon realized Hakuna had grown intelligent enough to also utilize the inventory storage. One by one, as Rara raised the Beast Girls' intelligence stacks beyond a certain threshold, they too gained the ability to access the virtual inventory. Finally, Marion herself overcame the barrier. Then Rara realized the meaning of the pop-up messages that showed in the tutorial section. That is, the only difference between players and NPCs is whether or not they can receive system messages. The system does not differentiate between NPCs and monsters. Oh, by the way, Rara named the Ant Queen Sugaru. Using Sugaru's ant legend, Rara quickly hollowed out a huge ass bunker compound under the forest, building out the intricate tunnel networks and extra farming chambers. Any players dumb enough to come near her territory got mobbed by a horde of hardened insects and beaten into a gummy pulp. Rara didn't even need to try, just sitting back and eating cheese dippers while racking up billions of XP from the endless slaughter. In the Kingdom of Hairs, FRN, we met another player named Wen, who, like our girl Rara, was a lucky close beta participant for this game. Wen was on the hunt for fellow players to join him in the big blowout event celebrating the game's official service launch. As he wandered around, one of the NPC from a local guildhouse flagged him down. "Oi, you a safe holder or what?" the NPC asked nosily, referring to whether Wen had access to that sweet infinite inventory. The NPC warned that Wen shouldn't be working solo, insisting he team up with other safe holders for safety in numbers. Then he dropped a juicy tidbit. Apparently there was another loner out there just like Wen. Wen stroked his beardless face, pondering if this mystery person could be an actual player. That's when he spotted the girl the NPC had mentioned. It's none other than our beastly badass Carrie. Wen noticed her whipping out items from her inventory and rocking that fresh out of the tutorial gear, setting off his spidey senses. This is definitely a noob player, alright? He sidled up and smoothly asked if she was a real player. Carrie introduced herself sassily, making it clear she was a real player that goes by name Rara. The two teamed up to hunt some monsters, gathering materials for the big event. As they wrapped up, Wayne invited Carrie to join him on a big event, but she played it cool with a polite, "No thanks." Little did Wayne know, our protagonist Rara was low-key watching the whole exchange through Carrie's eyes, staying one step ahead as always. She was quite pleased to see Carrie blending in nicely with other players while scooping out intel on a nearby town. Rara is a real multitasking queen. As Rara basked in the success of Carrie blending in seamlessly with the other players, Sugaru the Ant Queen cautiously approached her. "My queen, I must raise a concern," Sugaru said carefully. "If the players witness Carrie accessing her inventory, will they not realize NPCs like ourselves have that capabilities as well? Could that not expose the truth about your nature?" Rara gave a confident smile and waved a dismissive hand. "Have no fears on that front, my devoted subject. As long as another who goes by the name Rara is present, no one will think twice about Carrie's abilities." Sugaru's antenna twisted in confusion. "But do not players require unique identifiers? How can two bear the same name?" "Exactly right," Rara said with a sly grin. "And that's the beauty of my cunning ploy. For you see, Rara is not just Carrie's name, it is mine as well. I am the one true Rara. As long as I stay inside her users of such powers, no one will think to question it." Then suddenly, Rara got message from Riley. "Boss, we've got a situation. An army of skeletons is closing in on our base. How did they get past our ant surveillance team?" Rara's brow furrowed in confusion, but there was no time to waste. "Gather the ants and hold them up until I come. We'll deal with these uninvited guests." As they neared the skeletal horde, Rara raised her arms, invoking an ancient chant. "Nekrabi etio de Drabi." Necromantic barrier, a shimmering purple barrier erupted around the undead army, freezing them in place as Rara seized control over their mindless forms. Ra recommended her ants to attack while using her necromantic barriers to seize control of the undead realm. They remained motionless under her spell, except for one towering skeletal knight that withstood the ants' assault, defiantly roaring at Ra's dark powers. This defiant knight would need her personal touch to bend its will. Then the standing skeleton started shouting that they are the undead legion and he will take vengeance on the king. Rara then said she had no idea what he was talking about, but was willing to listen to what the undead knight had to say. But the undead knight tried to attack her. Then she gave the undead knight 3 options. 1. Leave the forest and go wherever the fuck you want. 2. Become her followers and she will help him to get his revenge. 3. She will kill him right now. The undead knight instantly chose the second option. As the weeks rolled on and Budawar's official live service launch drew near, players across every kingdom were caught up in the excitement of an unprecedented global crossover event. Split into 32 preliminary blocks fighting for supremacy, with one lucky cuck advancing from east to a final rumble in the Coomstained Pit. In preliminary block 16, we see our MC destroy the heck out of all the players, each by each. She simply strolled in wearing her ridiculous full-body living juggernaut armor Yurizaka-san, and swinging a demon-possessed swords Kanzaki 1 through 5 around like murder dildo buttons. After killing all the players in block 16, our MC qualified and was automatically teleported to the spectator area. When she arrived in the spectator area, everyone was staring at her, wondering how the hell she had obtained a full-body armor set in only 2 weeks. Then we see exactly where the armor came from. It was actually a living armor, as I mentioned it before. And the swords were alive too. Our protagonist Rara had created a homunculus. She named the armor Yurizaka-san, and the swords were named Kanzaki Ichiru to Kanzaki Goro. Next up was a real wildcard, a player with an utterly bizarre nurse fixation. Seems this guy spent so much time getting pampered by an AI nurse at the VR clinic. He totally imprinted on that whole Florence Nightingale vibe. His obsession ran so deep he would rock up to any game wearing nurse outfit if they let him. Homie was staying crispy in his little nurse getup. The crazy part? There were rumors that not a single person had ever managed to put so much as a ketchup stain on his pristine uniform. This mad lad had some supernatural stain-repelling powers or something. Anyway, everyone knew him as Nurse Yuchi on account of his unique taste. Then we saw Nurse Yuchi whipped out his skills to detect some shady black lattice ninja lurking nearby. The two were jabbering away until, swish, in one fluid motion our girl Rara, still rocking that badass black armor set, took them both down without breaking a sweat. She gave their weird getup a disdainful once-over, muttering, "Freak show," under her breath, especially that nurse cosplay dude. Dude needed to re-evaluate his life choices. Suddenly, a massive blast was thrown at her, but she felt nothing thanks to her armor Yurizaka-san. The MC then realized the magic blast came from the woods. Instead of pinpointing exactly where the blast came from and chasing the players one by one, she used a huge fire blow, skill named Hellflame, and burned everything around her. That cheesed up the other players big time. Soon they were all huddling up and plotting how to take down the unstoppable black armor menace before she burned the whole game to a crisp. The mages frantically hurled every spell in their arsenals, but Rara's living armor simply shook them off like a gentle rain on a window. Then the close quarter brutes rushed in, great swords and battle axes raised high, only to have their weapons clang harmlessly against her impenetrable defense. Rara didn't even break stride, just casually reaching out and grabbed their faces and squish, instant death by armor face crush. One by one, the players fell to her unstoppable onslaught. The other players watched in mix of horror and bewilderment as Rara methodically cleared the field. After methodically crushing every opponent in her path, it came as no surprise when Rara emerged as the victor of the finals. A congratulatory message flashed before her, along with an invite for an exhibition match, since the event had ended earlier than expected. Rara smirked beneath her living armor. An exhibition, A chance to show off her prowess against whatever challenge they could muster. She was eager to see what they had in store. And there you have it, the delightfully twisted origin of the dreaded demon lord Rara. But make no mistake, this is just the start of her devious reign. What you have seen is Rara's cunning rise to unstoppable power, crushing all who dare oppose her. But her true introduction to the world as a charismatically evil force is merely a taste of the madness ahead. Brace yourself, for Rara's demonic conquest is only just beginning. Sinister allies, helpless heroes to torment, and vile schemes engulfing the lands in glorious darkness. It's all on the horizon. So stay tuned. The Demon Lord's epic journey has only just begun.